evening. It is late, so I'm going to try to speak quietly so I don't piss off any of my neighbors. But my buddy Brad sent me an article earlier today that's kind of been sticking with me. It's kind of an opinion piece, and it's in The Guardian, and it's driving me nuts a little bit. It's like a bonus video. It's not my vlog, but I thought I'd do a response video. I never do response videos. Why not give it a try? This has been bothering me all day. So I'm going to read this for you and respond to it as I read it. Here goes. This is in the books section under the What I'm Really Thinking series by The Guardian. And now I'm going to tell you what I'm really thinking. What I'm really thinking. The failed novelist. My biggest mistake? Thinking it was my destiny. That is actually a pretty big mistake. After all, I'd written stories since I could hold a pencil, which is impressive, because most of us can't write when we're 8 months old. When is it that you actually get tactile, the ability to hold on to stuff? It's impressive that she could write stories from the moment she could actually hold on to a pencil. I'd written stories since I could hold a pencil, won every creative writing prize at school. That's impressive, because I don't think we had creative writing prizes at school, actually. Then, as an adult, short story competitions. I'm guessing she won some, not all of them. I found an agent, finally. It's good, it's impressive. He was reputable and confident. And initially, there was a flurry of interest from publishers. How could I fail? I think we could pause there for a second. How could you fail? So how can you possibly fail? I just want to point out that just because you're good at something when you're 8 months old or when you're in school doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do well, in the real world. I mean, you can ask any high school athlete or prom queen. Just because you're at the top of your high school doesn't mean you're even going to, average out in university. And then good luck, with the rest of the real world out there. And also, how could you not fail? Did you not do any research about writers? There's a reason that so many of us are alcoholics. Failing is the parenthetical behind every artist, not just writers. How could you fail? Okay, anyways. But over several months, my manuscript was rejected for reasons that bewildered me. Maybe it just wasn't any good. Here are the reasons. Often because all the slots for debut literary fiction that year were taken. Sounds like you got friend zoned on that one, to be honest. Yeah, but your book's great. Yeah, it's really good. Just, we've already filled all of our slots. Once, because I was a woman. I mean, that's wrong. That's definitely wrong. Whoever did that to you, you might want to sue whoever did that to you. If they openly said that they're not accepting your manuscript because you're a woman, that's wrong. But mostly because editors just didn't love it enough. It's a legitimate reason. I mean, why would you want to invest in something that you didn't really believe in and want to put out in the world? Okay, anyways. When I took the call from my agent saying we had no deal, I cried like a little girl. That sucks. I mean, it really sucks. The disappointment of that is genuine. I've had a book deal fall through not too long ago. It sucks. I don't want to minimize that. And you obviously did work really hard on this first book. Had a lot of hope in it. This stinks. This absolutely stinks. We haven't gotten to the part that there's a reason that you'll see. I defiantly started a second novel. Defiant, against all odds. That's what you should do. You should start the next book. I fully endorse this part of the article. It was my masterpiece. Okay, that part. We're struggling with hubris over here. Your masterpiece. You don't know. I used to think that my first book was my masterpiece too. No, I was in high school. It was my masterpiece. But it bombed too. As happens, we all write multiple books. My buddy Brad, who posted this, he had to write 3 before he got one published. Those 3 were all, trunked, as he put it. I've written 10. I haven't been trying to get published until this last year, but since then I'm on my second. So I'm right there with you. Years of work and emotional investment wasted. I finally gave up. To save my sanity. Okay, it really reads that dramatically, for one. And for 2, that's art. It is years. It's a lifetime of emotional investment and work. And it's not wasted. It's not wasted. If you're working on honing an art, it's never a waste. To quote Macklemore, a life lived for art is never a life wasted. You should listen to more Macklemore. I think you'd be inspired. But I'm scarred. I mean, we're all scarred. This isn't scarred. This is bitter. This is oozing bitterness. But I'm scarred. I still read, but stick to the classics. because you're bitter and because you don't want to read other people that are successful. I understand that. We all understand, but trust me, if you guys think I'm picking on this person, just wait till we get to the end. Like, if just wait. I have next to no interest in contemporary fiction and avoid literary debuts by British female writers, which all seem so safe and samey. Oh, my writing is so much better than theirs. It only hurts me to see such trite nonsense put out by these publishing idiots. You know, publishers, it's a business, right? Like, publishing is a business. They've got to sell stuff. If they don't think okay, anyways. It is an art form on the one hand, so you need to put a lot of work into it, and it's going to take a lot of time. You got to write a lot. Like, my personal goal is to self-publish 1 million words before I traditionally publish, just to be good at what I'm doing. I mean, that doesn't mean that I don't struggle with a lot of this stuff. Rejection sucks. But, oh my gosh. I have a higher tolerance for American writing, don't we all though? I mean, let's be honest. Which seems willing to take more risks and subvert gender expectations. Yes and no. We still have problems too. Gender problems are alive and well in America as well. I don't go to writers' groups anymore either. The whole scene is a complete turn-off for me now. You shouldn't be going to writers' groups if you're not writing. If you're not even reading anymore, you definitely shouldn't go to writers' groups. The whole point is to read other people's work and help them with it. It seems like you just want to tear people down, which is exactly what we're about to get to. 4 years on, I still can't look at the new fiction tables in Waterstones. They make me feel like an infertile woman at a baby shower. I have a feeling there's some infertile women out there that might have words for you over that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can still write another book. And I'm pretty sure that you could get published if you worked at it. Although you really use contractions in strange ways in here. I feel pity and scorn for people with dreams. Oh my God. Listen, this is why it's been bothering me all day. You feel pity and scorn? I looked up the definition of diatribe because I wanted to make sure that I was going to use it properly. A forceful and bitter verbal attack against someone or something. It's not terribly forceful, but I think it fits. This is the final line. 3 very short sentences that pull the whole thing together. You're writing a novel yourself? Good for you. Now please shut up about it. Really? Look, here's the thing. To respond in 3 points, because I really feel your pain on this one. I think we all do as artists, especially as a writer. I feel your pain, and I'm sorry that you're going through this. But taking that bitterness and putting it out into the world and trying to quash other people's dreams. So just 3 quick points that I think are really good for us all to remember for perspective and just to stay sane, because I think quitting writing and reading isn't an effective way to stay sane. It's just going to bottle everything up inside. You need to get out there. You need to keep writing. But what can help with sanity is perspective. So point 1 on the perspective, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes any of us anything. Just because we create art doesn't mean anybody needs to look at it, read it, watch it, listen to it, right? Like, we owe them the best art we can possibly make. And if we make something that's worth someone's time, then great. But until we get to that point, until society at large deems it worthy, it's not. It just isn't. That's the unfortunate reality. Point 2, part 2, I don't remember. We all get rejected, all right? Like, we all work really hard and we all get rejected. But just because you wrote a book and just because you got rejected, that doesn't make you special. That makes you normal. Everybody who writes books gets rejected. Even if their first book does happen to be good enough to get picked up, they're still going to get rejected by individual readers. My favorite artists all worked for like at least a decade to get to where they are. Macklemore, Casey Neistat. I mean, even look at J.R.R. Martin. You didn't know who he was until like 5 or 6 years ago, probably. And he's been writing books for decades. HBO will do wonders for you, though. So what you should probably do is sell your literary fiction to HBO. I'm sure they'd love it. Part 3, and then we're done. You were not a failure until the moment you quit. There's no such thing as a failed novelist who's still writing. Anybody who's writing is a writer. They're not a failure. They're learning, they're growing, but they are not a failure. You became a failure the minute you quit. And the nice thing is you can undo that by starting again and working at it. It's not a death sentence. Your career is not over, but it is until you get over this. Until you get your priorities straight, figure out why are you writing? Because it doesn't seem like you're writing for the love of the art. You have certain achievements that are out of your control that you're defining yourself by. What is in your control is how much you write, improving in your writing, and writing more. What you do in the act of writing, that's completely within your control. Whether or not other people like it, you definitely do not want to tie your sense of success to that sinking ship, because it'll never go far. Even if you succeed once at that, there's no guarantee you'll ever recapture it. So my encouragement to you would be to remember that while nobody owes you anything, you can still go and write something good enough that it might make them think that they do. In the meantime, don't write bitter nonsense like this that just goes out and tries to crush people's dreams, because you're not helping anyone. Like, it's just a pity party. And I got no pity for this. I feel you. I got no pity for this.